February 13th. Sighs that speak of sympathy and power. I don't think it's talking about that kind of a sigh. More like a or a That was a very deep sigh right there. Something like that. He looked up to heaven with a deep sigh. Mark chapter 7, verse 34. Deeply moved by the needs all around him, Jesus responded in the best way possible. Not with fine-sounding words, but with a sigh of compassion followed by meaningful action. A man who could neither hear nor speak, people who had followed Jesus without eating for 3 days, each person experienced Jesus' unspoken yet unmistakable love. Jesus sighed, yet it was no mere sigh of resignation or frustration, as F.B. Meyer makes clear. Walk with F.B. Meyer. In this passage, along with Mark chapter 8, verse 12, Mark twice calls attention to the Lord's sighs. A sigh is one of the most touching and significant tokens of excessive grief. Think about that. When our natures are too disturbed to remember to take a normal breath, and must compensate for this omission by one deep drawn breath, we sigh deeply in our spirit. He looked up to heaven with a deep sigh. As the deaf mute stood before him, an image of all the closed hearts around him, of all the inarticulate, unexpressed desires, of all the sin and sorrow of mankind, Jesus' sensitive heart responded with a deep drawn sigh. Can you feel it? I picture Jesus standing there, looking out at all of his people, knowing what we can have, and then seeing how we destroy it by our sin, seeing how we destroy it by our choices. And I could only imagine somebody that understands he's already given us the keys to happiness, is just wondering why we haven't opened the door. And I can see him sighing, just wondering, what are we doing? Reach into our pocket, take out the key, and go inside. Continuing. But there, simultaneously, a heavenward look which mingled infinite hope in it. If the sigh poked of his tender sympathy, the look declared his close union with God, by virtue of which he was competent to meet the direst need. Jesus, in doing so, would look to heaven and sigh, but his sighs were followed by the touch and the word of power. Let us not be content with the sigh of sympathy and regret. Hello. Hello. Okie dokie.
Okie dokie. Yeah. February 13th. It is time for a walk closer to God. That's the super cheesy voice. The radio show voice. It is now time to walk closer to God. That's right. We're going to. And now we're going to... Okay.
We're not done yet. We're not done yet. I swear. I swear. If it keeps on doing it, then I'm gonna go crazy. Crazy. I don't need to see myself, so we'll find out. It's recording on both, right? Right? You're recording on both? Alright. Walk closer to God. This part deserves to be read with some strength, with some power. It's got some good words here, so I'm gonna try to read them the way they're supposed to be read. You, like Jesus, can couple a heartfelt sigh with effective action, looking to God for the power to correct that which made you sigh in the first place. There's a sighing, dying world waiting for someone like you to take compassionate action. What will be your answer? A sigh or a shrug? A sigh or a service? Often enough, I will be the one sighing and looking for God to do something rather than wanting to step up and take action myself, when I realize that God has actually given me the vision to see it in the first place, and that vision alone should be enough to give me the motivation to get going and start doing exactly what I'm thinking. The vision that I have in my head, many times it's something that I think is too great for me. I think I can't do that, or it's too hard for me to accomplish. There must be somebody else out there that's going to do this extravagant thing that I keep thinking. But we need to keep in mind that we have a great ability to do amazing things if we put our minds to it, and if we start expressing it publicly, we're much more likely to get things done. And especially if we have community and friends around us, people who love us to help us, that's the best support that we can have. And you can find that through church, hopefully through family, and of course through good friends, as long as you're hanging out with the good crowds. You know how that can be. Anyways, I'd say all the things that God has to deal with out there, maybe we as part of a community can come together and try to prevent some of God's sighs, some of His desperations. Until next time, I'll talk to you later. God bless. Later.